So the borders are finally open and you're going to Japan. Whether it's your first time or your fifth time going, there are a few things that have changed. So here are the 3 things that really helped us have a smooth entry into Japan when we went in November 2022. First off, as you are probably aware, there are new entry requirements. So just make sure you familiarize yourself with these so that you can prepare all the necessary documentation ahead of time for smooth entry into Japan. So basically, you need to be vaccinated 3 times, or you need to be able to present a negative PCR test within 72 hours of your departure. I've included a link to Japan's guidelines in the description below. Although to make it easier, Japan have created an online process that you can access via the Visit Japan website or the My SOS app on your phone. And this lets you upload all your required documentation, immigration and customs information. So we did this before we went. It took a while, maybe about 30 minutes to an hour to complete both of them for both of us. When we were completing ours, there was a glitch when we were asked to take a photo of our vaccination certificate. So for some reason, the camera wasn't working through the app. So we had to exit the app, take the photo, but then when we reopened the app, we had to restart the process. So here's a warning to you, just in case you get that glitch as well. Take a photo of your vaccination certificate before you start the process, just in case. And then once that's all approved, you get a QR code, and then when you arrive in Japan, you just flash the QR code and you just waltz on through past all the people that are lining up. But basically the process was very fast and smooth once we arrived in Narita, which was great because we were rushing to catch a connecting flight to Osaka, which if you've watched our previous video, you know did not go according to plan, but that had nothing to do with that quarantine fast track procedure. That bit was fab. But make sure you do take a hard copy of your vaccination certificate just in case. We were asked to present ours when we boarded in Melbourne. So other countries might have similar procedures. So just in case, have it handy. Okay, so you've entered Japan. Now what? I think so far for using your phone, 2 main choices have pretty much been portable Wi-Fi or getting a SIM card. But this time when we traveled, Kay suggested we try using an eSIM. We didn't really know anyone that had used eSIMs before us, so we kind of just relied on the Google reviews and Ubigi or Ubigi, however you pronounce it.
って
おびぎ。
セルビア語風に言うなよ。
How do you say it?
ウビキ。
一緒じゃん。
Seemed like a good option for Japan. Prices seemed pretty reasonable. We ended up going with the 10 gigabytes for $17 US. We were there for 3 weeks and we figured that should probably be enough because we weren't planning on using it for anything too big, just mostly navigation and communicating with friends. Just a side note that the eSIM doesn't include a mobile number, it's just data. So depends on what you're planning on doing when you go into Japan, it might not be suitable for you. Kay was in a few situations where for certain government procedures, he was asked to provide a mobile phone number and he didn't have one. So that really complicated things for him. Oh, no. As a Japanese citizen. As a traveler, it might not be put in that situation. It's very unlikely potentially, but just to note so you are aware of it if you choose that option. We just follow the procedures outlined in the introduction video on the website, downloaded the app, and then when we touched down in Japan, I just went into my settings on my phone under mobile and then switched under SIMs. You'll have your own personal number as well as a biggie. And all you have to do is you just switch off your primary original SIM card with the phone number and switch on Ubigi. And that's all you need to do. And then the app will prompt you to select the plan that you want, and then you put in your card details and you pay for it on the spot. And for me, within a couple of minutes, I had access to data. Then I did it on Kay's phone, same exact procedure, and for some reason, his took about 15-20 minutes to be activated. So it seems to be depending on the person. It was fine. So there was poor connection in certain places. Major cities are fine. It was pretty slow, so I wouldn't be using it to upload videos. It probably doesn't have the capacity to do that. You can probably watch videos in low quality, but it's fine for basic travel needs like navigation and messaging friends. And then the last thing you'll need to prep is this bad boy. So I don't know if you have access to this card in your country, but if you're Australian, you're probably familiar with it. Basically, to summarize, you just meet some pretty simple conditions the previous month, and then you are eligible for 5 international ATM withdrawal fee rebates, which basically means if you use an ATM internationally, the ATM fee will be returned to you. So basically you have no ATM fee, as well as rebates on international transaction fees. Basically, this just means we didn't take a international travel card or exchange any Australian dollars to Japanese yen before we went. We just touched down, went to a convenience store, used the ATM just like we would in Australia without worrying about the ATM fees. Or you can just insert the card at the cashier when you're paying and it's automatically exchanged into Japanese yen. No extra fees. The one thing to be careful of though is when you're paying by card, the machine might ask you if you want to pay in Australian dollars or Japanese yen, in which case you absolutely want to select Japanese yen. Otherwise you get hit with their own exchange rates, which I learned the hard way, so I'm passing that information on to you. But yeah, it just made life so much easier. We didn't have to worry about carrying insane amounts of cash or transferring Australian dollars to another card for it to be exchanged into Japanese yen and then waiting 3 business days to access it or any of that stuff. So highly recommend, look into it. If it's not for you, fine, but definitely just check it out, see what it's about. But yeah, so these are the 3 things that really helped us have a smooth arrival into Japan, and I hope they'll help you too, and have an amazing time. Bye!
Bye!